morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever watching this, welcome to a new vlog here at VVC Automobiles Royal Enfield showroom in Banjara Hills. Going to test drive the Meteor 350 man. Looks beautiful, especially in this brown color. Love it. Previously we used to have the Thunderbird. It's called the Meteor from now on. I'm excited to ride this because they have done a lot of changes internally and looking forward to test riding it. And we have one subscriber here who helped us get the test ride too. Let's get on the road and talk, okay? We have the Royal Enfield Meteor 350 in this nice bronze color or brown color. I like this detailing. First thing I noticed is you sit very low. The seat height is around 765 mm if I'm not wrong, and you can easily keep your feet down. This dial is a combination of old school analog dials and some digital section, but this is much better implemented than the Honda Highness CB350 because this digital section is very clear. You have fuel indicator, gear indicator, but I like these sections, man. The kill switch and the pass switch, they're different and unique. With this button you can change the odometer, trip meters, basically that's it. And they have a navigation and a digital clock, so you get turn by turn navigations when you connect to the Royal Enfield app. I don't have it right now, so can't display it. This fuel lid is done really well. Anyway, let's get started. And these foot pegs are quite forward, more this like a proper cruiser style foot pegs. Build quality seems quite good here. Engine's on. That's a Royal Enfield, man. That's like the Royal Enfield sound, but in idle it's very smooth, like super smooth, man, super smooth. Let's get going. You really sit royally on this bike. So this is a much more relaxed cruising position than what you get on the Honda CB350 or the Java sits much lower and the ground clearance is low, and the riding posture and the ergonomics on this are quite different. One needs to get used to the riding posture, man. That doesn't sound like a Royal Enfield. Much smoother. I mean it in a different way. There are hardly any vibrations in the foot pegs and the handlebar. Okay, first impressions, guys, it's the riding posture again. The handlebar is nice and wide, and your feet are resting much further. This is a typical cruiser position, unlike other motorcycles that we have come across, be the CB350 or the Java. And I think this would be perfect for highway cruising because you're much more relaxed, your ergonomics are much more comfortable, there's not much stress on your back or your knees. It's pretty comfortable. And the most surprising thing is, in idle and in slow speeds, this sounds super refined, like as close as Honda. I would have to still give Honda the best in the league refinement, because that's throughout the performance band it's refined. This in idle is way smoother. Like, I'm sure a lot of people who are used to the old school Royal Enfields or even the recent ones, I owned a classic 500 in 2011-12 and it wasn't this refined. And the build quality on these pedals, on these gear levers, the switch gear is much better than what I had like 8-9 years back. The brakes are better than the Honda for sure, the front especially. Okay, here are the specs. This has a power of 20.2 bhp and 27 Nm of torque. Honda has around 20.7 and 27 Nm of torque, similar numbers. And the torque on the Honda comes much faster at a lower RPM than this, but somehow it just feels different. So this is where I am not sure where the magic is, because this feels eager to change gears. There's a lot more power available across the torque band. Yeah, if I have to pick between this and Honda, I'll be slightly confused. One thing that goes against this is the weight. This weighs around 191 kilos if I'm not wrong, and the Honda weighs just 181 kilos. The Java 42 is the lightest in its category and also the most powerful in its category, but I just didn't feel the connect with that motorcycle, except the Parak. Parak was an entirely different league. We can't compare this to the Parak because both are different class. This is more for like cruising and all. Once you go to that medium and high end of the rev band, that's when the engine and the exhaust note gets more vocal, but otherwise, see that? Yeah. somehow Royal Enfields don't handle as good as the other bikes, man. This is something I always felt. The Honda CB350 is a better handler, but ride on this is probably the best of the lot. It is so comfortable. Like, I am hardly feeling any bumps or anything. This seems like a flat road, but it is not. There are quite a few bumps, guys. Trust me. Like, that was a big bump. I hardly felt anything. Ride, definitely 9 out of 10. Design is subjective. Okay, let's hear the exhaust note again. Nice crisp information, very clear in bright sunlight. This not so much, because this is entirely a digital screen. It's used for navigation. This analog and digital combination is pretty good. You have telltale lights here. I'll probably not have this roll cage or whatever it is. I'll have a different design. These feel okay, the foot pegs. In some bits the Honda is of better quality, but in idle this feels so smooth. And the gear shifts are smooth too. There is no clunkiness that we used to get typically from Royal Enfields. That low end power is good, man. Royal Enfield has come a long way, guys. Long way from what I used to experience when I had the classic 500. And I like this color. This has that windshield option, and the logos are done differently, but my knees keep hitting the logo, and that's kind of harder section here. There's no recess for my knees, and it's maneuverable in the city. A few things that I am really impressed about this bike is, one, the engine refinement in idle. This is as good as a Honda, and that's a huge compliment for Royal Enfield. Some might miss that old Royal Enfield thud, but I like it. And two, the gear shifts are smooth. There's hardly any clunky gear shifts, even though they might not look the most attractive, but they are smooth enough to operate. I like this dash. The instrument cluster is good. You can easily tour around 80 to 100 in this on the highways, and it has enough information. This is modern enough for the category, but it probably might not have all the tech features that the Honda CB350 has. Also, I like the brakes. The front brakes are much better and probably the best in the class. And Royal Enfields are customizable to the brim, guys, so you'll have enough options there if you want to customize. So that's another advantage over the Honda. Few things that I'm not a big fan of. The bike feels twitchy. Like, whenever you're panic braking, it's just probably the chassis. It doesn't give you the confidence. So this is not a great handler compared to the other bikes. And the rear slides quite a lot. This has ABS, but I don't think it has traction control. And so there are a few things that this can probably do better. Also, they could have decreased the weight. At 191 kilos, this feels more heavier. Imagine if this was lighter, this would have performed much more brilliantly. They've done amazingly well with this bike, man. Pawan here helped me get the test drive. Thank you, Pawan. So that was the first ride impressions on the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. I know it was probably a short test ride, but I hope my insights were useful for you guys in terms of making that choice. So all three bikes, Honda CB350, Royal Enfield Meteor 350, and the Java 42 or Java, all three have some unique traits to them. They have their USPs, in other words. You need to test ride all three bikes and pick whatever you like. But I think the most confusing will be between the Royal Enfield 350 and the Honda CB350. Because Java is a clear choice. Let's say you want the best in design and probably the most in power. It just doesn't feel that powerful, but on paper it has the best specs there. And it is the lightest of the lot. But it has some big disadvantages for city, like ground clearance. The exhaust note is not that great, and it's a new brand in India right now. We don't know how the service will be. So I think it will be a niche bike for a smaller percentage of the people. Adding to that, Java is only 300cc, but it has higher power and higher torque than both these bikes. So I would probably leave that out aside for now. So let's compare the Honda CB350 and the Meteor 350. If you want something refined, something smooth, something probably definitely more reliable in the long run, then go for the Honda. If you want performance, if you want that excitement, if you want that cruiser feel where you can tour on the highway for longer distance, have the best in comfort, in that regard I would would say go for the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. The package, overall package, I think CB350 is well put together. So those are the two choices, guys. I can't put it any more clear. For any bike, you need to test drive it and fall in love. Personally, I think if I'm in the market right now in this classic 300 to 350cc category, I would pick the Honda CB350 because that's an all-rounder, whereas the Royal Enfield feels more like a highway mile muncher. The Parak seems like that out and out city cafe bike that you just use it for the looks alone. So these are the three ways that I look at it. Anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So hopefully this video helps you guys. In case you're watching this in night time, have a good night and see you in the next one. Bye bye.